is a translator, and he's shown these girls and he can choose from these girls as to which one he would like to marry. And money changes hands. He often offers money to the qazi or the tout, who shares the money between the family, the tout and the qazi, and the place of residence of the man, the person owning the temporary place of residence of the bridegroom. And no money reaches the girl. A partial amount of money, maybe a quarter of the money, reaches the family of the girl. So this kind of a thing has been going on clandestinely, and we really have a difficult role because complaints are not forthcoming. After the divorce, woman is not willing to complain.
According to a report by the Andhra Pradesh government, 65% of the Muslims are still living below the poverty line. A bulk of the Muslim population continues to remain poor, backward, unhygienic and uneducated. Therefore, in such situations, getting a girl child married in a household which consists of many more mouths to feed is impossible. And the remedy which already lurks as the best possible option is to give the hand of the young girls in marriage with lucrative prospects like old Arab sheikhs who are good enough to be their grandfathers.
Quite a lot of things are being done under the guise, under the purview of the personal law, or taking shelter under religious tenets, etc. The role of the police in the whole problem is very, very limited. Unless somebody is coming forward, either the girl's parents, particularly those people who have a locus standi in the matter, they come forward and give a complaint, it's very difficult for the police to act. But on our own, we have tried to study this problem and put it before the government as well as before the community, the elders, so that they can do something about it.
Now, it has become more or less like a typical brothel activity, wherein you have got the pimps, you have got the poor helpless girl, you have also got sometimes the families who are involved, who are forcing her into that knowingly. And unfortunately, in the brothels, you don't have the angle of the mullah or the maulvi. Here you also have the mullah and the qazi. The qazi who gives sanctity to this. So what otherwise is sex trade, is misusing a provision, a very holy, a very sacred provision in Islam of nikah, of marriage. Ameena's case, I think, was not that bad, frankly speaking. A 12-year-old or 13-year-old or 15-year-old getting married to maybe a 50-year-old or a 60-year-old is very bad. But still, if that person's intention is proper, if he wants to take care of this person as a wife, treat her as a wife, and then take care of all her needs and necessities, etc., maybe it can be accepted to some extent. Although it is wrong in itself, as such an old person marrying such a young person. But then the next phase was horrible. It started, maybe from 80s itself, 80s or 90s. That is where people were coming not with the intention of marriage, but with the intention of only misuse and abuse and exploitation.
In the last 4 years, to be exact, we have tried to study about 17 instances. Out of the 17, what came up to police stations was only 2. In another 3 instances, we started the investigation, but then we started the inquiry by getting the girl from Bombay or here, by tracing the girls. Initially, they were willing to give complaints, but maybe later the social pressure within the family, father, whatever, or could be economic settlements also. With the result, these 3 girls backed out. But 2 instances, they turned into criminal cases. In one case, where the girl very boldly came forward and said she had been married to a UAE national coming from Sharjah, and she did not want this marriage. Here we had arrested the gentleman. Not only that, the Qazi who performed the marriage and who readily agreed to give the talaqnama also, even he was arrested. Even he was arrested, and then we threw up the situation before the community, the ulama, the elders within the community, Waqf board, and we sent up a report to the government also, that each of us have to do a bit in this to redeem the situation. To the ulama and to the community elders, what we had suggested was to take up awareness campaigns. Also, it's not difficult to identify, if we conduct a survey, the girls who could fall prey to this sort of misuse of the system, those girls and those families need to be taken care of. In Islam, you have a beautiful system of zakat. Zakat, part of the money that you collect from the affluent and from those who can afford, if it is spent on this particular aspect, I think hundreds of girls could be married off in mass marriages, and maybe some of them would not have to fall prey to this sort of machinations.
Solution to this malice has to be multi-pronged and has to come from different sections of society. It is not just the responsibility or the possibility of only one section.
With the present scenario at a standstill, it is time that we take a look at some of the instances that have happened recently. With an unrecorded estimate of about 30 to 35 such marriages occurring every month, where these girls are given in marriage for maybe a few days or months and are later left behind, we came across the case of Hasina Begum in a newspaper. Hasina Begum, 19, got married to one-eyed Muhammad Jafar Yaqub Hassan Al-Jurani, an old man of 73 from Sharjah. Jurani, with 2 wives and 11 children in Sharjah, had come to Hyderabad for an eye operation. After coming here, he got married to 2 Hyderabadi girls in less than 2 months, one of them being Hasina Begum. It was this decision of his that made Hasina gear up enough courage and lodge a complaint with the local police station. Jurani was later arrested along with the Naib Qazi who officiated the marriage.
होता है, लेकिन कुछ ऐसे ही प्रॉब्लम हुआ तो वो बाहर आता केस। वो अंदर कितने होते हैं उसकी जानकारी हमें नहीं है। तो और एक केस हुआ था लास्ट ईयर जिससे मैं मिली थी लड़की से। तो लड़की एक ज्वेलरी वालों के घर में हाउस मेड जैसा काम करती थी। तो जब उसकी माँ, मतलब वो लड़की 8 साल से जब जितनी थी जब से वो घर में थी, लेकिन जब 17 साल 16 साल की हुई तो उसकी माँ के उसको लेके गई, ले जाके अरब से शादी कर दी। ये लोगों को वो पता भी नहीं था। फिर उसके बाद में जब वो अरब 1 महीना रहा, उसको रखे यहाँ पे, फिर उसके बाद में छोड़ के चले गया कि मैं वीज़ा भेजूँगा बाहर जाके। फिर उसके बाद थोड़े 6 महीने के बाद में एक अरब फिर आया और बोला कि आपके हस्बैंड वीज़ा भेजे, मैं आपको लेने के वास्ते आया। तो फिर वो माँ उसको भेज दी उसको। तो जब वो बॉम्बे लेके गया तो उसको बाहर ले जाने की नीयत नहीं थी उसको वो कर रहा था, वो एक्सप्लॉइट कर रहा था। तो फिर वो फ़ोन की ये ज्वेलरी वालों को जिसके पास वो काम करती थी, तो यहाँ से पुलिस लेके जाके उनको लेके आया लड़की को यहाँ पर, और वो आदमी को अरेस्ट किए।
Most of these young girls are uneducated. In fact, the literacy rate amongst Muslims was 18% as per the 1991 census, as against 44 other communities. The literacy rate amongst Muslim women was a meager 4%. Therefore, it is very difficult for these girls to get decent jobs once they are left victimized. Nobody comes forward to marry them again. Finding no other option, they are given in marriage to these old Arab nationals again and again. Thus begins a process of recycling wherein these girls slowly get into a flesh trade racket. But does the society provide a real solution for these girls?
Women have to stand up for their rights. Women have to say no to certain things. These girls need to fight and seek fulfillment of their right to education. It's not that there are no schools, or it's not that education is not possible. They must stand on their feet. They must work for a living, must know how to keep their savings, invest them wisely, howsoever small the savings is. And then, you can fight for an independent decision making right.
इस देश के गरीब घराने में पैदा हुए।
हाँ, क्या हमारा यही कसूर है कि हम इस देश के गरीब घराने में पैदा हुए? हाँ, क्या इनका यही कसूर है कि इस देश के गरीब घराने में पैदा हुए हैं? सोचो, जो बच्चे पढ़ना चाहते हैं वो पढ़ेंगे तो कितना आगे बढ़ेंगे।
As an attempt to educate society, young people from different communities and economic status are coming forward to help in this mission. One such is the Koshish Theatre Group, which visits slum areas in different parts of India to perform plays with relevant social messages. But one can only hope that the audiences who get to see real facets of society through these plays get motivated enough to take control of their lives. Meanwhile, Ameena, who seems to have come to terms with reality and have taken a grip on her life, is contented by blaming the whole nexus of which she was a part to one's kismat or fate. But being a mother of two, what does she have to tell about her children?
नहीं अच्छे देख के देंगे हम लोग मेरे सर के नहीं हो सकता मेरे सर के किस्मत नहीं होते उनके अच्छे होंगे पूरे अब हमारे बोल तो अब बाबा नहीं भाया नहीं कोई भी नहीं कमाने वाले थे ना सर घर में तो परेशानी में हुआ सो है ये भी वो भी ख्वाहिश का अच्छा पढ़ाएंगे अच्छे घरों में देंगे उठे जाके
Her husband, on the other hand, has left everything in the hands of Allah with no qualms about marrying a girl who is of the same age as his son from the second marriage. He is also proud of the fact that he is Ameena's savior.
वैसे भी क्या है अभी एक हेल्प करे सरकार आता ना मदद करे ऐसा इसलिए करके हम बोले चलो कर ले
मदद किसका
अभी उनका मदद करे आमेना क्या ऐसा बच्चे लोग को तो कोई भी जरा ये करता है ना इसलिए
Most people that you have seen in this documentary feel Ameena has been really lucky. The society thinks she has had many benefactors. Firstly, in the form of Amruta Ahluwalia, the air hostess who saved her, an NGO member in the name of Ali Bhai, who had helped her after she was rescued, and now Majid Bhai in the form of her husband. Does Ameena feel the same about her life? What does she have to say?
ऐसे अच्छा लगता क्या अच्छा नहीं लगता मगर अब क्या करेंगे किस्मत की बात अपने किस्मत बदलने वाले नहीं है और बच्चों के बदलते मगर हमारे नहीं बदले क्या कर सकते मतलब गरीबी है वैसी है हम लोग मतलब वो कोई मतलब मदद करे से वाले 20 वाले खा लिए समझो कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ मैं क्या बोलूँ आप अपने अपने लोगों की मर्जी रहती है अम्मा बाबा की मर्जी रहती मैं कुछ भी नहीं हो सकती
Well, we would never know. But there are many more Ameenas out there who need help. Some are rescued, yet some are lost forever. But we cannot afford to lose them in the name of the sacred nikah. These girls are slaughtered every time they are given in marriage, in which the talaqnama is signed along with the nikahnama. They need help but cannot cry out loud. They are so exposed to the abhorrent nexus of the sex trade even in their protective burqas. Isn't it time that society did something to uproot this social evil and save them?